Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to another episode of Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, the weekly podcast devoted to all things spirituality and self-improvement. I am so delighted you're here with me today. Today I have channeled some messages for you from the universe and I'm pulling some cards for you. The messages that came out today are all about how to find inner peace in a time of such turbulence in our world. There's so much going on right now. Things look scary to us, especially if we're watching the news and paying attention to all of the things happening around us. But the universe's message to you today is it is possible to find inner peace. And it's so important that you do that. And so I'm going to share with you the messages that I received and talk about how you can personally find your own inner peace. But before I get started with today's episode, I want to share some exciting news with you. Again, if you haven't heard, I am now part of the New Reality TV. So this is a new network that will be similar to the Gaia network. It is filled with podcast episodes or videos on topics like meditation, astrology. There's even a woman on this channel who reads people's eyes, which is so interesting. There are so many cool shows. So if you like this podcast and you want to follow, the New Reality TV will have episodes that are not available on my public space. Plus, I also have videos. My first video, I talk about my own spiritual awakening and why I started doing my podcast, and then I do a reading for you. So go check out New Reality TV. The link will be in the show notes. I am so incredibly honored to have been asked to be a part of it. And I want to thank you all for following me and listening to me. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. As always, feel free to reach out to me if you ever have questions or you have ideas for show topics, or if you want to work with me. I love hearing from you. So thank you so much for being a part of my audience. So back to the topic at hand, how in the world do we find inner peace in a time like this? So I channeled messages from the universe, and what I heard from the universe today was knowing is enough. The answers will come. So what I think that this means is knowing you are enough and knowing that you're on this journey is enough for now. You don't have to have all of the answers. Part of why we get so upset and so uptight whenever we are trying to find our inner peace and we're just feeling restless is because we feel like we have to have all of the answers right now. I want my blueprint laid out in front of me. I want to know what I'm going to do, and I get it. I'm one of those people who is a little bit anal, I have to say. When I'm getting ready for work, I will lay out my clothes the night before. My lunch is packed ready to go. Get my coffee made, so all I have to do is press the button. I am not a huge fan of change. Yet throughout my entire life, it's been change nonstop. And so you can imagine that for someone like me, this is a little bit uncomfortable. And that is totally the point. The point of being here is to learn and to discover. And we can't do that if nothing unexpected ever comes our way. But knowing is enough and the answers will come. The universe says to you, work on feeling joyful. Tap into your inner child. What was joyful about being a child? Find those experiences. And so I get it, because some of you might be saying, well, I didn't have a good childhood. I had trauma and I had all these things. I understand. I totally get that. But there were times in your life where you felt joy. I know there were. We had moments, even if the whole of your childhood experience was not great. There had to be certain experiences that you had where you felt that joy. It might have been being in your favorite teacher's class, or maybe it was being able to go spend time with a friend, whatever it was. What was it that brought you joy about being a child? Because the universe wants you to connect more to that inner child. The universe says find those experiences and create new ones. One thing that I sometimes do as an adult, I love to read. I loved it so much. And as a kid, I was always reading, and I would end up checking out the same books sometimes because I just loved them so much I would read them over again. So sometimes as an adult, I will like to go back. So some of the books that I read, they made movies out of or whatever. I'll go back and watch those or reread those books, even though, they may be books made for younger people. But it brings back that sense of nostalgia and how I felt whenever I was that age reading it. Or for me, Christmas time, that was something that I just truly enjoyed. So I might go and just watch a Christmas movie, even if it's not Christmas time, just something to instill that sense of joy. Or drawing, love to do that. I'm not a good artist. I can't draw, but I still like to do it. So I might sit down and just draw, just to experience that feeling of when I had the joy as a young child. So create new experiences. They said life is about discovery. Life is a gift. Don't waste it praying for it to end. I know that it can be really difficult, but I've heard people saying, and my mom kind of was one of these people sometimes, would just be like, I don't know, I don't want to be alone, and I don't want this and that. And I get that. But it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to live a mundane life of just waiting for yourself to expire. That's not what life is about. You didn't come here to do that. You came here to experience. And I understand wanting to feel that way. And if you are feeling that way, or if you're having suicidal thoughts, please contact someone, get help. There's so many services out there. Contact me if you want. It doesn't have to be that way. There are ways that we can bring joy into our lives. There really are. The universe says, experience all that you can. We have such a limited amount of time here. And I know some of you are saying, well, it feels like forever. But I've noticed that just in the last few years, it seems to be rapidly speeding up. And as my children get older, it's like, how do I slow this down? And I don't really want it to go this fast. Life is about experiencing all you can, because we're not here for very long, and we're collecting memories and experiences that we share. So don't waste that. Enjoy the ride. The universe said we are your co-pilot. We can help you to navigate through the difficult times. And what I actually heard was, we will help you to navigate the difficult seasons. Show up for yourself. When you get frustrated, and we all do, right? We all get frustrated. They said pivot, which some of you may immediately think of the Friends episode where they're trying to move the couch and they're like, pivot. But pivot. When you get frustrated, shift your focus, okay? Because that is exactly when we get frustrated, we go, why am I here? Why does this keep happening? Why do things happen to me? We go down that rabbit hole of, feeling sorry for ourselves. Everybody does it. We're all guilty of it sometimes. You have to learn to shift your focus. Instead of thinking everything is always going wrong, how is everything working out for you? And tell yourself, everything is always working out for me, because it is. The universe is behind you. The universe is guiding you. The universe has your back. If you're not seeing it, you're not feeling it, I'm going to give you some tips for how to reconnect, because sometimes we go through life, we get in our own way, we get into that mode of, I've just got to get through this, I've just got to live my life, and you get busy, and it's easy to feel disconnected. Everybody feels that way sometimes. I'm going to give you some tips for today for how to get reconnected and how to experience peace and joy in life again. How do we reignite that spark that we feel like we lose sometimes? And I'm just as guilty of it. There are times when I just feel so burnt out, and I have to pull myself back and reconnect. I have to stop what I'm doing and go inward and try to understand why it is that I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling, and how do I get out of that funky feeling? How do I get back to a place of being excited about life again, joyful, all of those things, right? And at peace. And the universe says everything is always working out for you. Believe that. Okay, it's time for you to believe that. So what do we do in order to get out of this feeling, this blah feeling the meh, right? How do we get out of that and get back into a place where we feel our spark again? The first thing that I would recommend is meditation. And I know some of you are going to be like, oh, meditation. And I get it. I talk about this in my first book, that my mind is very much chaotic. And I see all of these TikToks now where people are like, adult ADHD that was never diagnosed. I'm like, oh my gosh, I think this is me. I think maybe I actually do have ADHD. I don't know, because this is how my mind acts. It wanders. And so if I'm trying to meditate, weird thoughts come into my head like, they have taco pizzas, but why don't they have pizza tacos? And the funny thing is, I actually just saw that they did. Not too long ago, we had an Italian fest and somebody had pizza tacos. And I was like, oh, got to change that in my book. And now you see how my mind works? It wanders, right? It goes off on these weird tangents and it's like, what is she doing? I get that. Meditation does not have to be the traditional meditation where you sit and you listen to music and it's guided. It doesn't have to be where you just sit in their silence, because believe me, if I sit in silence, there's no silence. My brain is like, hi, remember me? I've got 50,000 things I'd like to introduce to you right now. I get that. It's hard for you to do sometimes. Meditation can be going for a walk. I find that extremely therapeutic, and it is like a meditative thing, because when I walk, I receive messages, I get things, and I feel very much connected to nature. It makes you feel better because you have the endorphins. And listen, I get it. It's snowing where I am right now. There's so much snow on the ground. I can't get outside and walk right now. But there are other things we can do. Some people find painting or drawing, sitting down with that, very meditative. They have the adult coloring books. Those work really well for some people. It's about getting out of that head space and connecting more to the heart space. That is what meditation is truly about. So whatever way you do that, maybe sitting down and just snuggling with your favorite pet. It's about disconnecting from that craziness of the outside world and slowing down and being present. That's really what it's about. And you can do that in so many different ways. Yes, I have some great guided meditations on my YouTube channel. The New Reality TV has a whole channel devoted to meditation. There's a lot of great guided meditations on YouTube. You can just play music and sit in silence. You can free write. You can do whatever it is that you feel comfortable. And what I'd like to tell people is try something new. If you haven't done it before, try it. Maybe you find something that works. Maybe you've never tried to draw, or maybe you've never tried to paint. Maybe you've never tried just going for a walk and seeing what happens. Try something different and see what works for you. And then, just my last episode was about not being afraid to try new things. Definitely try everything out, because you're going to have some things where you go, that didn't work for me. And then other things you're like, I kind of like that. Maybe I'll do that again. Or I absolutely loved that. That worked so well. You just got to keep trying new things. Another thing that's important that can be difficult to do sometimes is to be fully present. We often find ourselves thinking about the past or feeling anxious about the future. But if you are in the present moment and immersing yourself, then you can't really go back to the past or the future. And what happens when you think about the past is we feel guilty or shame or whatever for thinking about things that happened we wish could have been better. Or maybe even not just regret, maybe you feel angry. And I understand that. We wish sometimes we could go back and change the past, but you can't. So you have to let that go. We can take the lessons from the past, but dwelling there, setting up camp there is not doing anything to help you. It's just making you miserable. Stop going back there and punishing yourself by living in that past. And the future just makes you anxious, so stop staying there too. Try to be more fully present in each moment. One of the ways we can do that is by, for example, if you're eating, slow down, fully enjoy what it is that you're eating. Sometimes we just want to rush through everything. Again, think about how amazing it is that you have a wonderful meal, or that, for me, coffee in the morning, that seems like such a little thing, but I love my morning coffee and I truly enjoy every sip of it. I don't chug it down. I try to enjoy and be thoughtful with every drink that I take. When you go for walks, look around and see your environment. I love when we have spring and those flowers are coming up. I love to go outside and just look at the colors. I love seeing the butterflies. Even now as it's snowing, even though I'm not a fan of winter, anyone who knows me, that's when I complain because I don't like the cold weather. But I'm sitting inside in a warm house right now, and I'm able to look out and see the beautiful snow falling and the scenery, but I'm warm. Enjoy what's really in front of you. I know the universe is laughing at me right now because it hears me complain all the time about cold, but I do enjoy seeing the snowfall. I do. It's pretty. It's not my favorite thing, but it is a pretty thing. So enjoy, immerse yourself in each experience. That is where you're kind of giving your brain a mini vacation from all of the noise that's in your mind. It's important for you to try to cultivate a positive mindset. Our brains are naturally wired to go to negative things, and it's easy to go down that rabbit hole. Try to have some positive things you can think about. Boy, this gets really close because people talk about toxic positivity all the time. And I'm not saying don't say nothing bad ever happens to me, but why would we want to focus or dwell on that? Don't live and camp out in that area. Instead, think about all of the positive things that have happened to you today. Like for me, we had an e-learning day, which meant that I could sleep in just a little bit extra. It meant that I didn't have to get out and get into the snow. I could do my job from my warm home. There were a lot of things to be grateful for. My students are going to be safe. Those are things that I really think about instead of some people might dwell on, oh man, now I have to get online. And don't go to the negative, okay? Think of the positive experiences from this. I can make more coffee if I need it. I can't do that really at school. I don't have time. But today I can take time and be a little more slow with my day, which is nice. It's important to work on self-love too. I think that a lot of the reasons we feel so bad and we don't have inner peace is because we're focused on what everybody else is doing, what everyone else has. And I said in my last week's podcast, but it came out again today, comparison is the thief of joy. I think it's something like that, but it is. Why would you compare yourself to anyone else? I mean, I know it's easy to do, to say, well, this person posts this, people comment. Don't do that to yourself. You're on your own journey. They're on their own journey. If you don't feel like people are responding or posting or whatever, let that go. Okay, don't take that personally. I know so many times that people will later come up to me and say, you know what, I saw your post on this, and they mention it. I'm like, well, why didn't you like it or comment? Because, that helps other people see it. That's just what people do, right? We get in a hurry. People are going to people. They don't do what, they don't like it. They don't say anything. They just notice it and scroll on. People are too invested in their own lives and it's fast paced. I mean, look at how many times people don't tell you how they really feel and you don't know. And so you question it and you go on and later they're like, oh, I love you so much. And you're just so wonderful. And you're like, you've never told me that before. That's people. We've got to build that self-love so that when we don't get the validation from others, because self-love is an inside job. We're not supposed to get our validation from others, but we're trained to do that from a young age when our parents tell us, good job, way to go. We've got to learn to love ourselves so that we don't need that validation from anyone else. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. Having a podcast and being an author is tough because you depend on your audience. And I have maybe a handful of people who ever reach out and say, thank you, or I love your podcast, or what you're doing is so great. And I know I have that handful of people I can always count on and rely on, and they know who they are too. But no one else ever says anything. So I have no idea if my podcast has any kind of impact on anyone else. I have no idea if my books mattered or anybody else, or if they read them or they liked them. And that can be frustrating as a creator, right? Because you think, is what I'm doing even, does it matter? Do I just shut down my podcast? Do I do this? You question yourself all the time. And seriously, just leaving a review for someone, like leaving 5 stars or going and saying something on their podcast site or on their book site, just leaving 5 stars, leaving a little review. It takes so little time and effort, but it means so much to creators. But yet we don't do it. And I'm guilty of that too. I'll follow creators and be like, oh, I really like this person. Then let them know it. It takes 2 seconds. But we have to be okay with that. As creators, we have to be okay with putting out content and having people not react to it. And for those of you who put stuff out and you're like, yeah, nobody ever says anything. It happens to the best of us. No one reacts to it. And it's not because they don't like you. You don't know if they like it or not because they just don't say anything, but you know they're listening or they're watching. And the thing is, we're busy. We're busy, so we don't think about it. We just scroll through and we're like, oh yeah, that's great. And then we keep going. You have to work on your own self-love so that you're okay with that. That it's okay for you to make content and people not react to it. Because you know it's helping people. You have to have that inner knowing that what I'm doing is enough. What I'm doing is good. I'm a good person. I am a talented person. I love myself and I'm okay with what I'm doing. I know that what I'm doing matters. I don't need other people to tell me that. Yes, it's nice when they do, but I have to know that or else I would have quit from day one. So keep going in whatever you're doing and work on that self-love because that is what's going to keep you going and keep you strong. Practice self-care. I can't say this enough. And I'm bad about it sometimes too. Like I'll go through a whole week and say, man, I'm so tired. Well, you haven't done anything to take care of yourself. That's why. We get busy, right? Life gets to us. We put ourselves on the back burner. We're so guilty of that. And men are and women are, but I think women are especially bad at that. And no offense to any men out there listening, because, of course, you have a big job too. But you see it every day. Like, we're expected to work and take care of the kids and do this and do that. Where do we fit in that? And not to say that there aren't any men out there doing that, because I know there's single dads out there who also have to take that responsibility. But I know in my particular case, I had one who didn't. So it was me, like Atlas, world on my shoulders, right? And I would forget to take care of myself. So I'm telling you, this is your permission. Do something for yourself. My children were so sweet to get me a gift certificate for a massage this year, and I need to go use it. You've got to do that self-care. Whether you go get a massage, whether you go get your favorite meal, you schedule time to go take care of yourself. Maybe you get a facial or you get some new makeup. If you're a guy, maybe you go, I don't know, what do guys like to do? Maybe you go play golf, although it's snowing right here. So maybe you go to Top Golf. I don't know. Maybe you go do whatever it is that you like to do. Find some time to take care of yourself, because it's so incredibly important. You have to schedule that in. Take a soothing bath, a nice walk in nature, do some yoga, or read a nice book. Make sure that you're taking time for yourself each and every day, even if you have to put it in your calendar and schedule that. I also like visualization. And again, I think this is really sort of another form of meditation. But I might envision myself at the beach. Sometimes I just go look up pictures of the beach and I imagine that I'm there instead of in the snow. I know a lot of people like snow. My friend and I joke back and forth because he's in Texas and he's like, we don't have snow. I haven't had this much snow in a long time. I was like, you can have all of ours. Okay, you can have it. But I'm learning to appreciate that it is pretty to look at. Just not a cold weather fan, but I can visualize that I am not in the cold and that I am in Bimini Island again with the beautiful blue water and it's warm. That's where I would want to be. So visualize where you want to be. Maybe some of you do like being in the snow and you like being in the mountains. Visualize yourself there. Imagine skiing or sitting by a warm fire, sipping on a nice drink, hot beverage, while you're watching the snow come down. Whatever it is that feels really good to you, imagine that. I think nature is so incredibly soothing too. So maybe if you can't get out in it, some people can because it's warm where you are. For some of us who are in the snow, I'm not about to go outside in that. No way. I have Raynaud syndrome, which is where the blood vessels in my fingers and my toes spasm, and so they go numb whenever I'm around the cold, and then it feels like needles whenever you have the blood start coming back to those areas. No thanks. That's not for me. But if you like snow, get out in it. If you're somewhere where it's warm, go outside for me. Go sit in the sunshine for a little bit, because I definitely miss that whenever the weather gets colder here. They do make those season lamps. I got one for my daughter for Christmas this year because she definitely has the seasonal affectiveness disorder, and I think I do too. We need to be around those vitamins. So the artificial lights sometimes is also a good way to kind of boost your mood. You know, those physical things do have an effect on us. So that might be one way to get more into nature, is by using those seasonal lamps. I don't know. Do what you need to in order to take care of yourself. Gratitude, of course, is a great tool that can shift your focus. What are you grateful for today? What are 3 things? And it can be as simple as, one of my friends, we had a conversation and I laughed so hard, and I love that. You know, my sister called me today. We were laughing about our students and how they react to e-learning, not in a bad way, but just getting a little kick out of the way they log in and that. So that was something that made me laugh and put a smile on my face. It's also important for you to work on accepting where you are. I know it may not be where you want to be. I'm in the same boat. I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I'm grateful for how far I've come. And I accept where I am right now and know that it's where I'm supposed to be, because I'm on a journey. And when you go on a trip, if you're constantly like, I just want to be there, and I have been guilty of that because I'm not a huge fan of long car rides. But if you're only focusing on getting there and you're not enjoying the journey, because it can be really fun to stop at roadside attractions, and especially the really weird ones, and just to go in and check them out. I know when we would go to Florida sometimes to visit my dad, if we drove, we would stop in Atlanta and we would make a little mini vacation out of just the overnight stop there, because we would spend the day in Atlanta and we would do the aquarium, and we did the World of Coke, and we checked out some of the other attractions in Atlanta. That is part of the journey. You know, you're experiencing each stop, each rest stop along the journey, instead of just solely focusing on the end goal and getting to where you want to be. Life is about the journey, and if we just look straight ahead and we're in the future all the time, you're going to be anxious and you're going to be upset that you're not there. If instead you slow down and you focus on where you are and have gratitude for where you are, you've come so far. You're not where you were yesterday. So instead of beating yourself up about it, look back and show appreciation for yourself for how far you've come. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be completely healed. No one's completely healed. That's a journey that we do every day. And when you die on this earth, there probably will still be things you could have healed. It does not matter. That's not what it's about. It's about learning and discovery, enjoying it. Life is supposed to be fun. Life is supposed to be exciting. It's not supposed to be something you hate. So if it is, then there are things you need to change. Maybe lightening your load or trying something different. A new job, maybe. You're never too old to try something new. But you are always too old to keep doing the same thing over and over again and being miserable. So think about that. How much of your time are you wasting in this life not enjoying it? What can you do to fix that? And it can be little things here and there. You don't have to conquer the world in a day. Start small. What things can you do to change to make your life just a little bit better? And again, you're not comparing yourself to anyone. It's all about finding what makes you happy and what brings you peace. And so with that, I wanted to pull a few cards for you today, and actually quite a few came out. This is from the Healing Energy Oracle deck. But the first one that came out is peace. I am unwavering in the face of fear. I come to my senses and embrace challenge. I am determined to think with gentleness and calm. I find inner silence and become a manifestation of peace. I love that. Then you have everything turns to light. I work to improve myself, embrace all that life brings to me, and transform darkness into light. I allow myself to grow and become stronger. And then we have serenity. Through love release, and inner work, I know peace. I have a gentle view of life and welcome every step with confidence. I remain brave in the face of fear and have the wisdom to let the universe do its work. I love that. That releasing and allowing is such a big part of that. And I know it's hard for us to do, but we really have to get into the practice of flow, releasing and allowing. Then we have positive action. I focus on the beauty in me and I find silence. I live and honor the present by doing what I can do now. What I cannot change, I let go of and entrust it to God. Again, let go. Let go and be in the flow. Then we have trust. I trust life and my strengths. Each moment guides me to the light. Everything on my path is placed there for my growth. And if we would just see that challenges that are placed in our way are not there for no reason. They're not there to torture you. They're there to teach you. They're there to help you learn and grow. Then we have divine light. I am an expression of love and I shine like the sun. My inner light is my strength and my treasure. My intuition guides me to discover the wonder and goodness of who I am. And we definitely need to focus more on our intuition. And then we have here and now. The future does not exist, and the past is gone. I focus on the present moment. I have confidence in life again, because here, now, there is no danger. Everything happens when my soul is ready. Focus on the here and now. And lastly, you have self-love. I attend to my needs by listening to my heart. My inner essence lets me know what is good for me. I respect my limits. I answer the requests of my body and my soul. Thus, I learn to love myself. That's what it's all about. Learning, discovering, allowing the universe to help you co-create, letting the universe be your co-pilot, and learning how to love yourself. I hope that you guys can find some inner peace. I know this world can be so turbulent. Do yourself a favor. Stop watching the news all the time. Disconnect from that fear-based thinking and allow yourself to be more in flow and in love and see the blessings that are all around you, because there's so much to be grateful for. I love you guys. If you want to work with me, I offer one-on-one sessions. I do coaching sessions. I also do readings and I do healing sessions. You can always reach out to me if you'd like to work with me, but you're not sure what you need. You can find my contact information in the show notes. All of my sessions are available for purchase on my website. Once you get on the website and you go to the shop page, purchase it, and then email me to schedule your session. I like to personally schedule them. I don't trust those schedulers, and my hours can be kind of crazy sometimes with school. So reach out to me. We'll schedule your session. Don't forget to check out my book, Beautiful Mourning, A Guide to Life After Loss. If you are going through grief or know anyone who has, go check that out. Don't forget to like my podcast and leave a positive review. Go follow me on social media. All of my social handles are in my show notes. You can find my readings. I do weekly readings on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram and Facebook. On Instagram and Facebook, it doesn't show the whole video, but you can find them on YouTube and TikTok. I hope you guys have an amazing week. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.